recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we're blurry.
Why again?
Fix it. Hey, guys and gals. We're still blurry. Are we blurry?
We already know we're blurry. I should move that other webcam to over here, since we're not using it for our board games anyways.
We're blurry.
It'll fix itself in a second.
It never fixes itself in a second.
It fixes itself in a second.
All right. Ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll move it a little bit.
Get your fat hand out the camera. Yeah, we're still blurry. If you guys are there in chat, tell us, are we blurry?
It's so blurry. I already know we're blurry.
You're stoned. Maybe we're just fine and you're stoned.
If we look blurry
If we
to
get up
us,
close, are we still blurry?
If we look blurry to us, then we're blurry to everyone.
Yeah, we're not stoned.
No. That's all right. Matter of fact, you want to do your housekeeping, right?
I mean, I can.
So then I'll go to this one.
But I don't like being blurry.
Well, I was saying maybe I'll take our blurriness off.
Are we still blurry?
Now we're good. Just do your thing.
Can't do my thing if I'm
do
a
your
blur.
thing.
Do your thing. Wasn't that a dance? Wasn't that like a 90s, like, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing? You wouldn't have known. You weren't in the club.
In the club?
It was. It was a do your thing.
No, I never heard about do your thing.
I don't.
But it sounds like you're singing it to the tune of Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I do have OCD, so I'm like, everybody else was like, do your thing, and I was like, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Yeah, maybe.
Damn it, I forgot to change shirts.
You look ridiculous.
I got on my junkie around the house shirt.
You got on your junkie Tim is Rad shirt.
Oh well.
The only shirt that's ever gotten us banned from a Boy Scout event.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I made this shirt myself. I designed it.
Are we still blurry?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I can't concentrate. You ready for housekeeping?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my logo. I designed that myself.
That's why he doesn't work for a design company.
If you look, this logo is my name. It's a T. Right here. T. And then this part of the T with the dot above it is an I. And if you look at this thing sideways, is an M.
You should be fixing the blurry and not worried about your damn shirt. I'll do housekeeping. You fix the blurry.
All right.
It's wiping. It's not helping. It's not the screen. There's something going on. Oh, are we better?
Yeah, you're good.
Kind of. I'm out of the green screen, so that might be what's going on with me. So I'll lean in. All right, so housekeeping. This week's the reefer's stoned, so we don't want to use them for our...
It's like it's trying to focus on us independently, because like you go focused, and then I go focused.
Well, maybe we should just do this the whole thing. All right, so housekeeping, and the PSA of the week is secure your shit. Like, bolt it to the wall, because if you ain't got a baby, somebody you know's got a baby, and they're going to come over to your house and try to climb up on your shit and pull your dresser over on them and die, and it's going to be your fault, and it's going to go against your homeowner's insurance.
Okay, that's graphic. That they're legit going to die.
Well, I mean, they may not. They may be...
I'm going to go close.
They may be dismembered or otherwise hurt. So if you have things in your house that could fall over on a baby, take care of that shit. It's really cheap to do it. We put up our gaming shelves recently, and we talked about how nobody here would ever pull on the shelves, but I've got nephews that visit, and they probably would. So it made me think of secure your shit. That's my housekeeping.
Okay.
All right. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, no. So standard stuff. I think you disabled the need to follow us in order to chat.
I did.
But we would still like you to follow. What is it? Is it called follow on Twitch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just click follow. That's
so
the free thing.
So you click the follow button. It'll notify you when we go live, and you can chat with us. But Metal disabled the follow us chat, so you can chat with us if you're a bot now. So if we see a bunch of bullshit in the chat, that's why.
Yeah, I was trying to get away from bots, but we're going to see what happens.
Guess what we're going to talk about next week?
What are we talking about next week?
Quacky medicine.
Oh, okay. Hey, that was something I suggested. I never make suggestions that you listen to.
Quacky medicine. Yo, yo, Lolo. Quacky medicine. That's what we're going to tackle next week. All right. So, this week we're going to tackle haunted haunts, and made me think of Texas Frightmare Weekend. If you guys don't go to Texas Frightmare Weekend, it's local. Got
Well, local to us.
Well, local to us for the DFW area. It got delayed last year. It's moved to September this year. Is that right?
Yeah, it's in September now because it might be during our cruise.
Yeah, so unfortunately, because they moved it, it might be during our cruise.
Because they've moved it 3 times now.
But talk about it a little bit. Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Oh, it's just a horror convention. It's like a comic convention, but for horror people. Horror, not horror. There's not a bunch of whores there.
Not a horror convention. Horror.
Horror.
So, are we still blurry? Hey, Raina. Hey, Lolo. Do you see us as blurry?
We're slightly blurry. Quit worrying about blurry, though.
All right. I'm just asking.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm asking for a friend.
Okay.
All right. So, Texas Frightmare Weekend. If you've never been, look it up. All right.
Corey Taylor's going to be there this year.
Corey Taylor is
just confirmed like 4 days ago.
Unless they move it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Every time because these celebrities have other things booked throughout the year, so every time they move it, well, the new date, they might not be available. So every time they move it, it does change who's going to be there too. So
yeah,
Skeet Ulrich is going to be there, which is one of the 2 guys from the original Scream, one of the 2 killers. Yep. And that's the one Xander's really excited about because he's got the Ghostface mask he wants to get autographed and stuff. But
all right, so just kind of as I always do before we start, some of these places are more haunting than haunted, so they don't have to actually be haunted to make the list. So don't get on to me if there's not an actual haunting because I'm the boss. And I found in my research that everything is like the most haunted of something. Like there's 9 hotels that are the most haunted in the U.S. and in the most haunted in Texas and the most haunted in the world. And everything is the most haunted.
Kind of like every toothpaste is the most dentist recommended. Recommended.
Yeah, exactly like that. And I've come to the conclusion, honestly, that there's only one haunt. Like the one fruitcake that just travels around haunting everybody because they do the exact same things. Like one
open the drawers.
They open the drawers. They flicker the lights. They make the sounds. Yeah, it's all.
They wear a sheet.
I never saw that, but
yeah.
Okay. But anyway, a lot of the hauntings are similar, so I tried to change it up a little bit and not do too many that were exactly the same. But the stories are pretty similar when you get into hauntings, so that's why I try to get away from hauntings specifically and go into.
Demonic possessions.
No, I didn't do that.
Oh,
I didn't touch on that. Maybe that'll be a future podcast. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, first one up, Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. You can stay the night where Lizzie Borden axed her parents.
This is the real place?
The real place.
Huh.
So, as the story goes, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her stepmother, 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. That's not true. She was acquitted. Although everyone knows she did it. But nobody got 40 whacks or 41 whacks. And she used a hatchet. A lot of people say she's an axe murderer, but she used a hatchet, if you care.
That's the same damn thing, really. Now, if she had used a machete, then... Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
Wookie. Okay, so... Here you go. She used about half of what the poem states. So she didn't give him that many whacks. But it accurately...
Half of 40 is still a lot of whacks.
All right, so it happened quite a while ago, and she was pretty pissed off with her dad and her stepmom. And the story goes...
How old was she? Was she an adult or was she a kid or what?
She was like a quasi-adult, younger, earlier 20s. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. 20 is still a lot of whacking. You are right.
Yeah.
So 19 on the stepmom and 10 more than that on the dad. And it took approximately an hour and a half apart for her to do it. Like, it's really weird because there was a maid there. So there's a maid in the house the whole time. And supposedly when she's killing her mom, the maid's outside washing the windows. And when she's killing the dad, the maid went upstairs to take a nap. So she wasn't really aware of what was going on.
Kind of like the guards not being aware of what was going on when Epstein was killed.
Probably just like that.
Or hung himself, rather. Whatever he did.
So would you stay at the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You would?
Yeah, why? Yeah. I probably won't say no to any of these, but...
You want to see the next one?
Yeah, let's move it on. Are we going to book a bed and breakfast? You don't even like to go to bed and breakfast.
No, and this happened in August. This is how long this story has withheld, because they're still making like Netflix shows.
Yeah, there's a new
movies.
one that just came out, right?
August 4th, 1892. That's how long ago that happened. So it's been a long, long time. I'd stay there. I've heard a lot of rumors about it. I heard that she fed her family to the pigs, and none of that happened.
Well, what I'm curious about is, you said it was half of that.
Yeah.
So if she didn't do it, somebody gave 40 or 20 whacks to mommy and daddy.
She did it.
Right, but if it wasn't her, then it was someone. Who was it, the maid?
No, I think the maid just turned a blind eye, to be honest with you.
Because she didn't want the other 20 whacks for herself.
Hey, snitches get stitches. Or ditches. Or both.
Or gigantic splits in their head from a hatchet.
Oy vey. All right. I don't know if this is Whaley House or Wally House in San Diego, California. So this is really interesting. The daughter of the owner of this house, Wally House, or Whaley House, it's weird. It was like a general store and also like a room where they held like court cases and convicted people of murder and hung. It's like a very weird house.
I thought you was going to say it was like a store and like an apartment.
I'm going to move closer. No. Oh, sorry. My bad. Okay. So what's interesting is the daughter, Violet, okay, she marries George Berticcioli. And 2 weeks after they're married, the couple travels back east on their honeymoon, and she awakes and the dude's just gone. Like, he's just gone. Like, bye. Like, bye, Felicia. She can't find him. And so she has to return to town without a husband, which back then was a big no-no. Like, it's a big deal for you not to be escorted. Is that the right way? Like not to be in the company of your husband.
Yeah, you didn't just walk around by yourself.
Yeah, so they found out later that he had only married her for her substantial dowry and thought that he would get it immediately. And due to the restrictive morals and societal standards of the time, she was shunned by polite society. So basically they were like, oh no, stay away from Violet.
Man, there's a lot of people I wish would shun me. Okay.
So their divorce was finalized a year later, but Violet never recovered from the public humiliation and the betrayal. She wasn't able to. So she committed suicide by shooting herself in the chest with her dad's revolver in 1885. She was 22 years old, and her suicide note read, "Mad from life's history, swift to death's mystery, glad to be hurled anywhere out of this world." And this is considered the most haunted house in America, which I'll probably talk about 4 more of those.
Okay, so this is the most... What is it now? Is it still just... I mean, is it...
It's a museum.
It's a museum, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a museum.
All right.
So that was a really creepy suicide note.
So it's a haunted museum.
Yeah, but I also thought it was really weird that they were like... One was a general store, and then you could go to the next room and they would convict you of murder and hang you. So, or of whatever. Who back then they hung everyone for everything, right?
In what year?
1885.
Yeah, that was still hangings. Before that was burnings. We'd burn you at the stake.
Everybody excuse me. Please fix that.
I don't know what else to do.
All right, so the next one is a place that I've actually been. Woo! All right, you ready? Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. The Amityville Horror House in Amityville, New York.
Oh, this is actually haunted?
It's haunted. Well...
I thought it's just where the movie was filmed.
It's currently for sale for $850,000, so, I mean, it's attainable.
That's a pretty big house for $850,000, really, right?
Yeah. And I will tell you, since I've been there...
And real estate's kind of high in New York, right?
Yes, especially in Long Island. They're in Long Island. So, those crescent moon window things are gone. They're not there anymore. So, what makes that house iconic, you can't even recognize it. Driving down the street, you're like, where'd it go? And you drive right by it, because it doesn't look like that. The windows are gone.
It's probably painted different and everything.
No, it's still white. I mean, when I was there, it was still white. It's probably been, 5 years since I went? Or so? Okay, so in November of 1974, Ronald Defoe shot and killed 6 members of his family. He was convicted of second-degree murder in November of 75. He later claimed that there were voices in his head urging him to kill, and some believe that he was hearing evil spirits that resided in the house. Because you've seen the movie, right? Because they have...
Yeah, you're explaining this isn't the haunting.
They have the original one, and then they have the... Was it Ryan Reynolds that played the dad? in the remake?
I don't know if I ever saw the remake. Was the remake shot in the same house?
I don't know.
Probably not, right?
No, but I mean, they build
studio.
sets now. So I think it was Ryan Reynolds. But who's the other guy that I always mix up with Ryan Reynolds? Always. Dane Cook. I don't think he was acting in anything, right? I think it was Ryan Reynolds. Where and in the movie, I think it was the stepdad that loses his freaking mind. Because, you know, the house talks to you and tells you that... Surprisingly enough, people that have lived in the house, I think there's been about 4 families now, they claim that there's really nothing up with the house.
Yeah, it was just a filming location, right?
No, I don't think they actually filmed there. That's where the murders took place. This is a real true story.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was a movie.
No.
I mean, I know it's a movie, but I thought it was fiction all.
It is not.
It's based on a real murders?
Absolutely true story of a guy who murdered his entire family. Well, 6 people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is that house the filming location as well? Or that's just the real house it happened in?
The original movie, I don't know, which is, by the way, my favoriteest horror movie. I don't know. The remake, no. I mean, it was just, it was made in Hollywood.
Right. No, I figured that. But I'm like, I didn't realize it was a true story. So now that I understand that it's a true story, this is the actual house where the killings happened.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, not the house that the filming happened in.
No.
Okay, that makes way more sense to me.
What did you think I was telling you? I'm going to the murder house.
Yeah, I just thought that was the filming location for the movie.
I was like really embarrassed because I was in town on business and I saw the sign for Amityville and I said, no way, it cannot be the Amityville. And so after the meetings concluded, I asked, just out of curiosity, is that the Amityville? And they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. So I Googled it, and it was. So before I left for my flight, I drove an hour that way to Amityville, and I found the address, and the house didn't look like that because the Crescent windows are gone. So it took me a minute to find it, even though I had the address, but then I was too embarrassed to get out of my car because people were just like walking their dogs, and it was just a regular neighborhood, and I thought, how weird. So I
want to take a picture of where people were murdered.
Yeah, I took like an obscure selfie. I put like my phone like this, and I looked out my window, and I got like half of my ear and the horror house.
You should have used that for your photo.
Yeah, I was so excited. So what I found out while I was researching this is absolutely the best part of this whole thing, besides the fact that I'm an Amityville fan, right? So there's a database called diedinhouse.com, and it allows you to search addresses for murders, suicides, and meth labs. So if you just want to...
And meth labs?
Yeah. So if you just want to know what's up with the house you're buying, the house you live in, the house your friends live in.
So that's the factors.
It is.
Did anyone die?
Murder.
Or you make meth in this house?
Well, die, commit suicide, or make
Those
meth.
are still dying.
Yeah.
So did anyone die or cook meth? That's the determining factors for buying a house.
Well,
Death
I mean, it's...
or cooked meth.
Well, I mean, I don't know what your factors are, but according
to... Well, obviously that's a lot of people's factors if that's what the website's dedicated to, those two things.
$12 a month, you can look up whatever you want.
Okay. I wonder if anybody's ever cooked meth in our house.
I didn't want to pay $12 to find out.
All right.
It just doesn't seem like it. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, here we go. King's Tavern. So King's Tavern was constructed in the 1700s, and the building served as a tavern, an inn, which was typical, right? And the post office. Because back then, everything was like all in one, right?
Everything was Walmart.
Yeah, sure. All in one. So today, both locals and tourists head to that eatery to eat flatbread pizza.
It's a pizza tavern now?
It's a pizza tavern now.
It ain't no real pizza tavern if making flatbreads, but whatever.
Okay, so it's a bougie pizza tavern. Okay.
Flatbreads are not pizzas.
They're like...
Get out of here with your flatbreads.
So part of the history came to light in the 1930s when the skeletal remains of 3 bodies, 2 men and a woman, were found in the wall behind the fireplace when they were remodeling. Along with the bodies was a jeweled dagger, which was assumed to be the murder weapon. As for the remains, the 2 men were never identified. They could never figure out who they were, but the woman was Madeline, the mistress of the tavern's original owner.
And now they're haunting the place?
According to local legend, Madeline disappeared after Mrs. King found out about their affair.
This one I believe. Because the only reason you would make flatbread is because there was something haunting you making you make flatbread.
Many believe Mrs. King killed Madeline and hid her body in the walls, and now they make flatbread in the same chimney they found.
What's that website again? Grim Reaper's asking for that website.
Died, like past tense, DIEDNIN, house, HOUSE, diedinhouse.com. So now,
but it's not free. I just found out.
I think it's like $12 or something. So, I don't know. It'd be worth it to. Okay. So now they're making flatbread in the same chimney they found bodies in, probably.
Probably.
And
you know what?
Madeline's pissed off about that.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. So I go to Schlossky's Eatery. For those of you who don't know, Schlossky's is an Austin eatery.
It's not just an Austin.
Well, it's an Austin-based eatery that has expanded in other parts of Texas, so we do have them up here in DFW area. On Wednesdays, Schlossky's has buy one, get one free pizzas.
Yeah, but it's basically a flatbread.
No, it's a pizza. It's a pizza cooked on sourdough as the crust.
Yeah.
And they're really good. On their menu, they also have flatbreads. I've never ordered a flatbread because flatbreads are stupid.
No, they're not.
They are.
Whatever.
We went to a Schlossky's this past Wednesday, me and my work partner, because that's what we do. We take turns buying, and we just buy the pizza, buy one, get one, and the next week, and we just both get a pizza. Well, they were out of pizza.
You had to get a flatbread?
They said, we're out of pizza. And I'm like, what? That's never happened. So I guess the sourdoughs that they have that they make them on is... They were just out of those doughs. And I'm like, well... Can you get the buy one, get one on the flatbreads then? And she's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, can I get the same flavors as the pizza? Yeah, sure. Okay. So we ordered 2 flatbreads. They sucked.
Lola wants to know what your problem with flatbread is.
Because pizza is on crust. Flatbreads are on crackers. I don't want my pizza on a cracker.
No, not true, because flatbread a lot of times is on naan, more like naan.
No, flatbread is like crackers.
I'm with you, Reefer. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if you've ever had flatbread, most of it comes on like a naan type thing.
Now, you're correct. The sourdough crust they use is not traditional pizza. And we've even had that conversation at work. I'm like, well, it's not pizza, but it doesn't change the fact that it's delicious. So, it doesn't taste the same as eating a pizza, but it's still a delicious meal.
And you like thin crust too, so I'm not sure what
I love thin crust. No, but... Thin crust doesn't break like a cracker. I don't know. I just don't like...
Flatbread doesn't break like a cracker.
I don't like flatbread pizzas. I just don't like them. I'm not a fan of them.
He judged all the flatbread from one flatbread.
No. We've had flatbread at many places, and I don't like them.
You ready to talk about haunted things, or you want to keep talking about flatbread?
I'm over flatbread.
All right. How about St. Augustine Lighthouse? All right. So the lighthouse is 165 feet above sea level, including the black and white, and included a black and white banded design. To access the top of the lighthouse, the keeper had to climb 219 steps. After completing the trek upwards, the spectacular panoramic view of the Atlantic Ocean was something everyone looked forward to. So this is the lighthouse. Each lighthouse on the East Coast has a distinct appearance and lighting characteristic known as their night mark. So all lighthouses on the East Coast have a night mark. This mark was used by sailors to identify the location and distance from the shore. Initially, this lighthouse flashed every 3 minutes, but now it flashes every 30 seconds. So that's just some history on the lighthouse itself.
That seems excessive, flashing every 30 seconds, don't it?
Give you an epileptic seizure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? Okay, so here's the story. Here's a story about a little lighthouse.
I was going to tell Taylor that's a good plan. He texts his wife to bring him some Schlossky's. Their bread is legit. Very legit. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want Schlossky's now, too.
Is it too legit?
No.
Too legit to
It's
quit?
just the right amount legit.
All right, so here's the story of the lighthouse, in which, by the way, I must tell you, is the oldest lighthouse in the U.S.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So one day, the current keeper's 2 daughters and 3 of their friends were pushing like a rail car that was used for transporting supplies from a pier to the lighthouse. And the wheels of the lighthouse shifted and the kids fell out, plunging into the water. Okay? Luckily for them, a construction worker saw it happen and rushed to pull the children out of the water. Unfortunately, both of the keeper's daughters and one of their friends drowned. So he was not able to save all of the children. It wasn't possible. So since the accident, both visitors and lighthouse workers have repeatedly reported hearing girls giggling in the woods behind the watchtower, and others claim to have witnessed what looks like 4-foot-tall figures peeking around corners.
How did they die?
They were pushing a rail car back and forth between the pier and the well. You know, like a cart type thing. You think of what's in a cave, right? Those rail cars.
Yeah.
They were playing around inside of it and pushing it, but when it went off the rail and it tipped over and they fell into the water.
Oh, okay. And they drowned.
He was not able to save 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now they haunt it.
And they haunt it.
What's up with people haunting shit?
I don't know, but what's creepier than a fucking lighthouse in the middle of nowhere?
The lighthouse looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
That's the actual lighthouse?
It is.
Because that lighthouse looks
Its
awesome.
night mark is the black and white.
I would go there just to see the lighthouse. It's pretty.
It's in St. Augustine, Florida. If anybody's... A lot of these are completely accessible. You could go. But I think being inside you know how concrete things like tend to dampen sound? Like you're in a lighthouse, it's super quiet, it's dark. The lighthouse keeper probably stays alone. I don't know. Creepy enough. All right. So, little children.
There's nothing scarier than being haunted by kids, either.
I know, because...
That's way worse than adults.
Kids are creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Especially they look like that Grudge girl.
Well, I don't get it. And so a lot of the things that you're going to ask about, like...
Or what was that one with the little boy that would be up at the steps? Was that Grudge?
No, the Grudge was the long-haired thing, wasn't it?
Wasn't that the one... That was... I get them mixed up.
The one with the Grudge was the long black... No, that was the Ring.
Yeah, the Ring.
The Ring was the one with the long black hair.
And the Grudge was the little short-hair boy.
I think so.
Asian boy, yeah. And he was like all pale white, and he would be at this, like, looking through the little thing.
So a lot of the ones that you asked me about, you're like, is this in there? Is this in there? I'm like, no, none of that's in there. Because most of the stuff that everyone always knows about, like the Cecil Hotel, that's on Netflix right now. Why do you need me to tell you about that?
Yeah, now 6 months ago, a lot of people might have known about the Cecil Hotel.
We knew about it years ago.
Well, yeah, but like me, my kids, sometimes Dawn, we listen
or
like
Cecil or however.
We listen to like some paranormal podcasts and stuff, so we've heard conspiracies about the Lisa Lamb thing years ago.
Right. So I didn't do that because a lot of these that I know you already know about, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do another lighthouse because they're super creepy. So the new London Ledge Lighthouse in Connecticut, which is literally in the middle of the freaking water.
I was about to say that. I didn't know lighthouses were out in the middle of the water.
That one is. I mean, I don't know.
I thought the whole point of the lighthouse so you didn't hit the land.
I'm going to say that one's in the middle of the water because I know it is. And
I can see it is.
Yeah. Maybe you're getting cut close. Remember when we went to Brazil and they wouldn't let us get close because if you got any closer than that, the rocks would get you? Maybe they need to warn them before they get into the rocks. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because you can't get right up on the land. I'm not really sure. I didn't research that. Every damn time you come up with something I don't know. All right. So built in 1909, the lighthouse sits atop a striking 3-story building. Individual keepers tended the light from its inception a century ago until 1939 when the U.S. Coast Guard took over. Okay. In 1987, the light was finally automated, eliminating the need for anyone to stay inside. Because we don't really need lighthouse keepers now. We can automate them. Okay. As it turns out, over the many years, those on duty have reported all kinds of strange ongoings, which you'll see here these same things over and over. We talked about that at the beginning. Unexplained knockings, bed sheets flying off, cups moving around, boats unmooring themselves, TVs and radios turning themselves off and on, and the foghorn spontaneously, going off. In the 1920s or 30s, the keeper of the lighthouse was so distraught that his wife had run away with the local ferry captain that he jumped from the roof to his death. So here's our ghost. No records have been discovered that can confirm or deny this yet. It's believed that all of the haunts are the lighthouse keeper.
So he jumped from the top of this to the bottom of this? Not to the water.
Well, I don't know where he died.
Well, I'm just saying, that doesn't look like a very far drop. Not saying it won't kill you.
Perspective is an interesting thing, so I wouldn't...
But I'm not saying it wouldn't kill you, because of course you can die by falling 8 inches onto your head.
You probably could hit the...
But what I'm saying is, me, if I was suicidal, I would probably pick a different way, because I would be too afraid that short of a fall wouldn't kill me. And then I would just be in a lot of pain with broken bones and paralyzed.
Not everybody overthinks things like you.
Okay. That would suck, though.
So this is a different type of haunting that we haven't heard about yet. My wife left me for a ferry captain, and so I committed suicide. Which is sad. Because how would you like to be the wife?
She don't care. She's with the ferry captain.
I would feel like shit.
Mm.
That's my second Lighthouse story.
Do you have 3 Lighthouse stories?
No.
I was just curious.
I'm
over lighthouses already, so.
I don't have a third. Lolo said he was left for a ferry. Okay. So this one's like actually really cool. I would want to go here.
It looks pretty.
It's in Greenville, South Carolina.
Is that a haunted bridge? Or cave? Bridge. Or is that a bridge?
It's a bridge, yeah.
A tunnel?
Huh?
A tunnel?
It's a haunted bridge. It's in Greenville, South Carolina. The bridge is, in fact, the oldest surviving bridge in North Carolina. I told you, everything has a claim to fame. Everything. Several locals say that they've been unable to start their cars when they get ready to leave. A light is said to move towards them while they're in their cars, and then they hear a loud scream, and then the light gets closer and goes away. I saw this one on Unsolved Mysteries, too.
That's not ghosts, that's aliens.
So I saw this one on Unsolved Mysteries, too.
Did it say it was aliens?
Kinda. I mean, it's weird because nobody can really explain it, right? No one can really explain it, but... So, folklore says that the bridge was built on a site of an Indian burial ground, of course.
They're always Indian burial grounds.
Dating back to the Cherokees.
Even Poltergeist, the movie, was Indian burial ground.
It's always an Indian burial ground. I think in most of the horror movies, it was like, get out! Okay, so other stories go that some of the men who worked on the bridge died during the construction, and they were just, like, put in the bridge. It's not that big of a bridge.
Yeah, that's not very big. I've heard stories like that before. My grandpa told me stories about that.
Yeah, but like the St. Louis Arch, where you don't have anywhere to go.
The stories he told me, because he lived, well, you've been out to the cabin at Buchanan Dam, and he used to work for the dam. Now, he didn't work when they built it. That was built a long time ago, but there's stories about the dam, and you can actually go there and read the plaques, and it said X number of people, I don't remember the number of people, but X number of people died in construction of the dam, because the dam is huge.
Hoover Dam is the same story.
And so they build it in layers, right? Well, if somebody falls into that concrete, there's no way to retrieve them. Yeah. So they just end up getting left and buried inside the dam.
That happens.
That's crazy. Now, nowadays, you could probably retrieve them.
Nowadays, I think it would, and don't quote me because I'm not an expert, but nowadays I would think it would be mandatory to retrieve them. Back then
it was just like, well, we lost another one.
Back then it was quite different.
Sorry, your uncle's in that dam.
I would be willing to suspect that nowadays it's required to retrieve them.
And with technology, I'm sure we have ways to do it, but back then they just had, we're talking like early 1900s, late 1800s, they had no way to retrieve you if you fell down there.
Yeah, 1930s, 1920s, 1930s.
Yeah.
I would love to go here. It looks
But I'm saying that doesn't look big enough to just leave someone there and bury them in the bridge.
That's what I said too, and it's brick.
Like dams are giant.
They were laying that brick by brick. So what do you do? How do you leave a body in brick by brick? I don't believe it. But
you would literally have to be putting the bricks on the body.
Yeah. So I would say that if you were to Google Poinsett Bridge, it is absolutely gorgeous. That is a place I would love to go and hike. Absolutely gorgeous. Regardless of the story. So the next one you should note. You should like it should look familiar to you.
It should?
Yeah. You ready?
Well, let's see it then.
Okay. We almost win here.
Oh, the Stanley Hotel? Is that the one from... No. What is that? That's the one from Shining, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is the one from Shining. Okay.
Yeah.
It looked like... But that's a real story too?
It's a real hotel. This is what The Shining was, but he used for inspiration for The Shining. So this is the actual hotel.
And it was really a psycho in there that murdered people?
No.
Oh, so the killings didn't really happen.
This is his inspiration.
Okay.
Okay? So, the gentleman who built it was like really, really ill. At the time, he was 5'11", and weighed only 118 pounds. His doctor suggested like he needed better weather, and so he went out to this area and he ended up recovering, and he decided to build the Stanley Hotel, and he lived to be 91 years old. So he just built the hotel. So what's interesting is there's a staircase that between floors that is dubbed the Vortex. It is a tornado of spiritual energy, sort of a paranormal portal where ghosts visit. Guests report cold spots, feeling dizzy on the stairs, They feel like something walks between them. They've seen orbs. There's distortions caught on camera. People have seen Mr. and Mrs. Stanley. That's one of the things that happens in the Stanley Hotel.
So did these reports of these things come before or after The Shining?
No, they came before.
Oh, so they were before The Shining. Okay.
Yeah. So ghostly occurrences are reported in almost every room. Shadowy figures, eerie laughter, flickering lights.
Girls on tricycles.
No. So they said that the ghosts here at the Stanley Hotel like vacuum cleaners. If anyone or don't like vacuum cleaners, if anyone vacuums, they unplug them or turn them off. So they think that's really interesting. So existing long before King's novel, there's actually a pet cemetery outside the Stanley Hotel. Before he ever even wrote that novel, there was a pet cemetery. There are 2 beloved pets interned there that supposedly make appearances throughout the hotel. But yeah, Cassie, the golden retriever, and Comanche, a fluffy white cat.
I was gonna say one of them's a cat. I know one of them is a cat.
But that was before King ever even wrote his book. There was already a pet cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and
did that inspire his pet cemetery? Probably not.
How do we know?
Okay.
Okay, so the open area in the front of the Stanley Hotel was originally a long driveway. Stanley worked for Stanley Steamers, and it had a promenade. And
Wait.
Stanley Steamer.
Are you serious?
Cleaner. Yeah, he was.
That's a real...
Yeah.
Did he, invent the company, or he just happened to have the same name?
No, it was part of it.
Oh, so the company exists because of him?
Yeah.
It's his name in the company?
I didn't look up what Stanley Steamers was, but I assumed it's the carpet cleaners because we all know that.
Yeah, is that like a nation chain or something?
I don't know. National. So in 2015, it was replaced with a hedge maze because of The Shining. So they held a competition, and they chose a design from 300 entrants, and it was done in order to connect the Stanley Hotel with Kubrick's film. Like, they intentionally did it.
Right, because there was a hedge maze in the film, but not at the actual place.
Correct. So they held a competition, and they actually built the hedge maze, and they did the animal topiaries and all of that because they wanted to connect the hotel with the film. They wanted to be able to actually make a connection.
Well, yeah, capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
Sell more rooms.
We almost went there, but our flight was leaving too soon, and we couldn't make it.
I didn't realize that was in Colorado.
Yeah, we were there when we were there.
You told me about it?
We looked it up, and we just couldn't make it happen. We just couldn't fit it into our schedule.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Stanley Hotel. And it probably doesn't look familiar to everybody because it's not snowing. Because in the movies,
maybe.
It's in the movies, it's always snowy, right?
Yeah.
You want to hear another hotel? We're going to stay with hotels for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to look next at the Crescent Hotel and Spa in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Another place that... Oh, and it is one of the most haunted hotels in America.
So not the most haunted.
One of them. So the Crescent Hotel was built in 1886 as a resort for the rich and famous, but it quickly became unmanageable and fell to disrepair. That happens a lot.
Oh, so it's not open anymore?
I don't know if it's still open. You always have the questions.
Well, didn't you just say they closed it?
No.
Oh, I thought you said for disrepair. What did you say?
I'm about to tell you what happened after.
Say the whole sentence over.
Okay. So it was built in 1886 as a resort for the rich and famous and quickly became unmanageable and fell into disrepair. But then somebody bought it.
Oh, okay. That makes me think it closed.
No,
so, okay.
It did. And then somebody bought it. And in 1937, radio personality and inventor Norman G. Baker bought the building and opened a hospital. And you might ask yourself, why is a radio personality...
I was just asking myself that.
You were. So he treated cancer patients there. And
there was a psych ward.
Despite lacking any training at all. As a result, many people died.
So he was a radio personality and just said, you know what, I'm going to try to cure cancer.
He decided that you could cure cancer by drinking mineral water. So he had all the cancer patients drinking the mineral water.
And die.
A lot of them died. It is an apparent portal at the top, which used to be a morgue. So they have seances there, and they try to they've excavated, and a lot of people believe that it's a portal. It's a portal of the beyond because of all the death.
So God was like, you know what, enough people die here, we just need to put a portal to heaven right here.
The portal wasn't to heaven.
Oh, where was it to?
Hell.
Oh. Why is cancer patients going to hell? What'd they do wrong?
I don't know. That's a really good question. You always have... You with the good questions, you.
Well, I assume they were all going to heaven.
I didn't think about that, but it's not. It's a portal to hell.
Okay.
It's a portal to the great beyond.
He's the real life doctor from The Simpsons. That's true. That's very true.
I don't know how Homeboy pulled it off, really. He's a
Right, how do you just say I'm going to be a doctor one day? You know what? I'm going to treat leukemia. If you drink wine, you won't have leukemia anymore. Let's do it. I'm opening a place.
I think back then there were far less restrictions.
I guess so.
Like the construction that we talked about, right?
Nowadays it would be like you would get sued out of this world if you tried to treat people with mineral water.
You get sued out of this world if you try to treat
if
people with real medicine.
Yeah.
Right? They did drink the mineral water. They drank all the mineral water. Apparently it doesn't work. All right, want to talk about another hotel?
They were drinking his Kool-Aid.
Thornwood Castle Inn and Gardens in Tacoma, Washington, which is, if you Google this, there are some of the most beautiful weddings held there.
But I'm going to be negative for a second.
Beautiful weddings.
Because that house looks really cool. It's a very pretty house.
Beautiful.
But it don't look like a castle. How are you going to call yourself a castle when you don't look like a castle?
It is. If I were to give you an aerial and do more with it, you could tell that there was a castle.
Nah, you need a damn moat, not a water fountain. What kind of dragon's gonna fit in that water fountain?
You don't watch enough Bridgerton. Castles, there's different types of castles.
Nah, there's only one kind of castle. If I ever own a castle, it's gonna look like a damn castle. It's gonna look like Castle Rock.
So Chester Thorne...
It's gonna look like King's Landing.
Chester Thorne founded the National Bank of Tacoma and became one of the richest men in the area. In 1908, he bought 100 acres of land along the American Lake in Washington State and spent over $1 million creating his dream manor, 24,000 square foot Gothic Tudor mansion. So this is a Gothic Tudor mansion. Apparently, you like a different style of mansion.
Mansion. You said the word mansion, not castle. I said castle.
But it's called castle.
I know, you shouldn't call it that.
I don't make the names. All right, so Thorne's granddaughter drowned in the pond on the estate. And if this looks familiar to you...
If it was a castle, she would have drowned in the moat, but okay.
This might look familiar to you because Haunting on House Hill and the sequel Haunting of Bly Manor are all filmed here.
Very interesting.
Okay. Stephen King's 2002 miniseries Red Rose was also filmed here.
Never seen that.
And his daughter, Anna, has a large bedroom, and that's where most of the hauntings happen, which is really weird because that's where all the brides like to go. Like all the there are tons of weddings held here, and the brides like to stay in Anna's bedroom, which is the most haunted place. She contracted scarlet fever at 16 and lost her hearing, so she had to wear a hearing aid, and she didn't like going out in public or participating in any of the social events. Instead, she would sit in her window and just kind of look out at the guests below. And guests say that that's what they often see, is her sitting in her window, melancholy, looking at the window, wishing she'd be part of it. According to one diary entry, guests staying in Anna's room heard a piano downstairs in the grand room play early in the morning, as well as sounds of someone pacing upstairs all evening into the early morning hours. But the most common is a silhouette of a girl sitting in a window just kind of looking out at the wedding ceremonies.
And since we're calling this a castle... It's making me think of Castle, and your story is again making me think of Game of Thrones with the Scarlet Fever, except for what was the name of the castle? I can't remember now. The one that was the Targaryen castle that Daenerys actually came back and took.
You read the books and watched the shows.
I can't remember the name of the castle, but
I was on the peripheral of it.
Dragon something. I forgot the name of the castle. But anyways, it's the same place where what's his face's daughter got black scale, and she was locked up in her room, looking out the windows and whatever. Remember that made me think of that when you said Scarlet Fever. She was locked up in her room. Made me think of his daughter being locked up.
Yeah, with that half of her face kind of.
Yeah, because she got grayscale or whatever they called it. Yeah, I don't know. It just made me think of that because
you think that was really leprosy because it really didn't say what it was. It was like a scale. She looked like a I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know. You could because remember he got it in his hand.
Yeah.
And then he got infected in his hand or whatever.
And they cured it.
Yeah. Before it got to his whole body or whatever. Yeah.
So you want to see one more hotel, a local one that we can all go.
Is it a castle?
A DFW? No, it's a hotel.
Oh, we got DFW going on now.
Yeah, DFW in the house.
Yeah. So this one will be close enough to go to.
Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas.
Oh, I know about the Driscoll.
Hey, it's one of the most haunted hotels in the U.S.
Huh.
in the U.S. Before I said America. Before that, I said ever. So but
that's not DFW.
Oh, it's not. I'm so sorry. It's local to DFW.
It's local to Texans.
It's in the capital of the great state of Texas.
Hell yeah, y'all.
Woo. First legend chronologically is a girl who died in 1887 after chasing her ball and accidentally falling down the grand staircase. If you listen carefully in the halls, you can still hear the sound of the balls bouncing. People claim that they can hear bouncing balls. The second story is perhaps the most creepy of all. It's a tale of the suicide brides. There are actually 2 separate occasions in which a bride, for unknown reason, chose to commit suicide on their wedding day. In room 525. So if you want to go to Driscoll Hotel, 525.
Kind of like all the people that go visit the Cecil. They want to go to the room that she stayed in for whatever reason, even though she didn't die in that room.
So 525 in the bathtub.
Taylor, you need to get your butt down there and check it out. Let us know if you hear any hauntings.
525 in the bathtub, 20 years apart. Both of those brides. So Taylor, get in 525 in the bathtub and send us a photo.
Reserve 525? I bet you can't even get in room 525.
It's probably saved out forever. All right, Colonel Jesse Driscoll himself has been known to check on his hotel from time to time. People say they can smell his cigar smoke, and he messes with the lights. They believe that he is there. He died 4 years after the hotel opened. So a lot of people believe that it's Driscoll himself that's haunting the hotels. If you find yourself walking through the halls on any floor, you'll notice the creepiest as fuck paintings. And I looked at some of these paintings, and you know the only creepier other fucking paintings I've ever seen?
Denver Airport.
Denver Airport. If you've never been to Denver International with the creepy, I did not put this on here, but the creepy freaking horse.
Well, that's because that's not haunted stuff. That's like Illuminati stuff.
No, there's Illuminati stuff.
Yeah, that's like underground bunkers and shit going on there.
Please look up the Denver Airport.
Yeah,
please look up the horse with the bright red crazy fucking eyes. And please look up the murals of like the children in coffins with gas masks, because
and they have like Nazi looking soldiers with the Nazi gear on.
There's no way in earth that the paintings, the creepy paintings at the Driscoll Hotel, which I intend to go check out as soon as we can, because that's just kind of chick I am, are as creepy as the Denver fucking airport, because those are crazy.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, do yourself a favor and just Google like
Illuminati Denver International.
Or just type in Denver Airport conspiracy. Just type those 3 words.
Oh Lord.
Because there are so many conspiracies, and they are conspiracies and they're fake, but they make sense. They're so fun to read. And Denver is fun because they literally play along with it. Like Denver. Hey, there's a sub. Oh, Prime sub. Thank you.
Thank you.
They play along with these conspiracies. Like, remember, they were doing some construction and they were putting up, like, the barricades in the airport. Yeah. And they would put signs to keep you out, like, under construction. If you were at the airport here in Dallas, it would say under construction. Well, theirs were saying, like new bunker for the Illuminati being built or some shit. They were like literally playing on these conspiracies, so it was a lot of fun.
So Raina, if she's listening, she should talk about that. We looked at the freaking murals. Those murals, just Google the murals alone. There are so many conspiracy theories just about those creepy ass murals.
And I had already known about them, so the first time that I went to Denver, I literally told her I want to spend a good hour or 2 in the airport before we even get in an Uber and leave. Because I just wanted to walk the whole airport and look at all these conspiracy things. I wanted to look at them.
And people are going, like, I had been to the airport multiple times and never once even looked at those murals until I read about it. And then I was like, wait, what? And so, I mean, I
think I actually brought it to your attention because I heard it on a podcast. And I was like, you've been to Denver Airport, right? Yeah. And I'm like, what about this and that painting? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because so many people just walk by with their suitcases and they're in such a hurry to get to the next, get their plane or whatever. Nobody's even looking at all this shit, and it's crazy.
Good one, Reefer. We'll have to do a week on conspiracy theories to reward them for using their Prime. Want to talk about Prime now rather than later, since they already teed it up?
Yeah, I made this Nightbot thing. It's been showing up telling people to support us and stuff, but there's supposed to be one that tells you how to use Prime, but. Yes, if you have an Amazon Prime account, link it to your Twitch account, and you can get a free subscription. Like, you can subscribe us for free with that.
For free.
For free.
Literally, it doesn't cost you anything at all. All right, let's talk about
the Illuminati is not a theory. Oh, there it just no. That's our YouTube one. See this Nightbot? It comes up and tells them little things.
The Illuminati is for reals.
It's for real.
Okay, so let's talk about the Sloss furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama. One of the places that are so far behind everything else in the U.S. Like, you go to Birmingham, Alabama, and it's like taking a step back in time. Those people out there are not quite where we are. And they're a little bit... If you're from Birmingham, I apologize, but y'all are a little bit behind in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, so Birmingham...
No, they're not that bad. They got a damn good university there. Smart people come out of there. They play good football.
Okay.
They play good football.
Okay, so Birmingham was born following the Civil War when men of industry decided to take advantage of the area's rich mineral resources. They have iron, ore, coal, limestone, all the ingredients you need to make iron.
Or meth.
That's not what you use to make meth.
I've never made meth. I'm not sure.
I think meth is like Benadryl.
Yeah, it's shit you get from the pharmacy. You have to buy it from behind the counter.
And NyQuil.
Because they moved it all behind the counter.
Meth is why we can't get fucking NyQuil without asking permission and
the
signing a waiver.
The good Sudafed. The good Sudafed's behind the counter because people make meth with it.
Okay, so according to historical records, the production of pig iron began at Sloss Furnaces in 1882. The blast furnace was once the largest manufacturer of pig iron in the world. They closed in 1970. And pig iron is the intermediate product of the iron industry in the production of steel. It's also known as crude iron. So it's.
I was like, why is it called pig? Is it like pigments or something, or?
I honestly don't know the why of it, but it's
that has nothing to do with the haunting. So
okay. So many people have supposedly seen ghostly apparitions. One of which is named James Wormwood, a former blast foreman that treated his workers terribly. So supposedly this guy just treated his workers like total shit, just absolute shit. And he ran the graveyard shift. That was his shift. It's believed the workers band together and threw him into the molten fires of the furnace because of his mistreatment, and thus the haunting of the Sloss furnaces. So, word of the wise, if you're a boss, don't be a bitch, because you might get your ass thrown into a furnace.
It happens. I've seen it happen.
Have you? Or have you? You've seen a boss get...
I've seen people get thrown in furnaces.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
What you talking? Are you drinking?
Not in real life.
Okay, are you talking about
like
Nightmare
in movies or video games or whatever? Yeah.
Oh, I was like, not in real life you haven't.
This is a big-ass furnace in Iron Forge in World of Warcraft.
What are you even talking right now? All right.
I'm not saying it happens. I believe you.
You can actually tour most of these places even though they're closed. That's not one I really want to check out, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not very interested in that. It doesn't look fun.
What about the catacombs in Paris?
Catacombs are always fun to go in, so I would do catacombs.
So buried under the streets of Paris lie the Paris catacombs, housing of the bones of over 6 million people, due to a shortage of burial space within the city. They had no choice. They didn't have anywhere to put people. So here's the story. Here's the story, okay? This group of people happened upon a video camera on the ground.
Oh, there's some Blair Witch shit going on here.
In the catacombs, and to their surprise, the camera had footage on it.
Of course, found footage.
As a group, they watched the footage, and they heard disturbing noises. It became apparent that the man holding the video camera was lost and had no idea how to escape the catacombs. In the video, the audience can clearly draw that the man is going mad inside because it's a network of tunnels in which he can't escape. And the video ends abruptly with the man dropping the camera on the ground. To this day, no one who knows who the man was.
Or what happened to him, or
if he came out. Many believe that this is what inspired the movie So Above, So Below.
I've never seen that.
So, As Above, So Below. Sorry. As Above, So Below.
I thought you was going to say Blair Witch.
No, I thought maybe you had seen it. That's why I put this one, because I thought maybe you could tell us about it. As Above, So Below.
But I will write it down and I'll put it on my list and I'll watch it.
On,
maybe it's on Shudder.
What is it? You pitched. We need to get sponsored by Shudder because you pitch them almost every time. Like, I watch horror movies on Shudder because I'm a horror fan.
I love Shudder. It's like $6-7 a month, and it's like a lot of horror movies.
We're gonna get into shit I can't pronounce now, because that's my favorite part. I'm just gonna say Chernobyl. Yeah. Everybody's seen pictures of that crazy ass amusement park at Chernobyl,
yeah,
right?
Of course.
So that's what this is. Early in the morning of April.
But you can't tour this one. Actually, didn't they start offering tours?
It's not radioactive enough anymore. You can do what you.
But you still have to wear suits, right?
No. Really? As of today, there is no real, true effect if you want to go to the Chernobyl site. It's just regular levels of radiation for the most part. No one will see any kind of adverse effects. So in the morning of April 26, 1986.
So they say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think. Like, I still wouldn't go without the proper protection. And I would have those meters.
Geiger counter.
Geiger counter, whatever it is. I'd have one be like, dee-dee-dee. Nope, not going that way. Nope, not going that way. All right, back on the bus.
So early morning, April 26, 1986, the fourth reactor exploded at Chernobyl nuclear plant. It released 10 times the radiation that was released at Fukushima. Fukushima, the big one from the tsunami. The other one. This is worse. So what's interesting is they didn't tell anybody to evacuate. Did you know that? They didn't tell anyone to evacuate. They were like, doody-doo, it's not that bad. And then they were like, maybe it's bad. And then they were like, maybe you should leave. You'll be back in a couple of days. So anyway,
I thought people literally got, like, burned. Like, didn't people, like, get turned into, like...
No, they started... It wasn't Pompeii.
Oh, I'm thinking of Pompeii. That's right. That was volcanic, right? Was that volcanic? I got it confused with Pompeii.
Oh, my word.
That was volcanic, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Okay, so there's a documentary that claimed that, okay, so regardless of the documentary, let me start. The amusement park was scheduled to be open like the week before this week after this happened. So they weren't quite opened. They were scheduled to be open. A lot of the rides weren't even ready to go or anything like that.
Oh, so this was never a working amusement park.
It was not. So,
that's a lot of waste of
money.
So
there's a rumor that they started running the Ferris wheel and a lot of other rides to distract the town, so that they wouldn't know what was going on. And they have video of that. But the truth is, they were wearing winter clothes at the time, and this happened in April. So they're saying that was like a test run that they did before it ever opened, that's not true, that they did not open the amusement park to make people distracted from the fact that there was a nuclear reactor that blew up. That is not what happened, that's just fake news. But there's a documentary that was released that swears that they started running at least the Ferris wheel to distract everybody. Like, are you distracted by a Ferris wheel? You're like, hey, there's a nuclear explosion. Don't mind that. There's a Ferris wheel.
It's not even that big of a Ferris wheel. So, I mean, how many people are you going to distract with? You have to be pretty close to even see it.
Yeah. How did you confuse Chernobyl with Borden?
Because, you know why? Because we were at an art exhibit once. And there was someone who... Me and you. Oh. And there was an artist that did a whole gallery that was Chernobyl. And there was another artist that did a whole gallery on Pompeii, and I think I just mixed them up.
Oh, we were at the Dallas Museum of Art, I think.
Yeah, and there was like, remember when they had the exhibit?
No, Fort Worth Museum of Art. The
I don't remember.
Anyway, yes, I do recall.
Emma Carter or whatever.
Yes,
yeah. And there just happened, it was just coincidental that there was one that did Chernobyl, a whole Chernobyl gallery, and one that did a whole Pompeii one. And I just got them confused in my head, because I remember looking at the Chernobyl ones, and then I remember seeing all the ash people, remember? The rock people?
Yeah. And there's 100 million movies about Chernobyl. If you want to watch them, just Google movies about Chernobyl. The most famous is Chernobyl Diaries, if you haven't seen that, which is fictional, right?
I was going to say a lot of them are fictional.
I think Chernobyl Diaries is Blair Witch style. I brought my camera. I was looking around.
Yeah. Found footage.
But what's interesting about Chernobyl is since they had people leave telling them they would be back in 3 days, everybody left their personal, nobody tried to take anything with them. All their stuff got left there and they were never allowed to get it. So it's like everyday life there because people were told, it's okay, you're coming back. Okay? All right. So let's talk about the next one, which is the Hill of Crosses. Over 100,000 crosses, and nobody organizes or manages this site whatsoever. I read several articles. It stated it just is. No one manages it. Nothing's done with it.
Kind of like the gum wall.
It just is. You always go back to the gum wall.
Well, because, I mean, how did the gum wall start? Like, people just started sticking gum on the wall.
The 8 degrees of gum wall.
Yeah, it's like people just started sticking gum on the gum wall, right? And it became a thing. People just started sticking crosses in the ground.
So Lithuania considers this a national treasure. It has a troubled and mysterious history. The Soviets, believe this or not, have repeatedly tried to destroy this. They've actually razed it, bulldozed it 3 times, dug a ditch around it to stop anyone from entering, yet people continue to plant crosses. And even though it was considered a punishable crime by the Soviets, the crosses keep appearing.
So they just said, fuck it.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah, fuck it.
It's like when you decide in prison that it's about to happen, there's more of us than there is you, man. Like, we the majority. Like, we're going to make this happen. Okay, so one story is that in the 13th century, when Lithuania was mostly pagan, and before to become Christianized, a group of pagans burned down a church on this spot. So that was, and that's why it's supposed to be haunted. So according to folklore, there was once a church up here on the hill where it stands. During a terrible storm, lightning struck the church, and the tempest buried it under the sand and rock. So it's basically there. Locals say they can glimpse a ghost procession of monks at the foot of the hill at sunrise. Throughout the ages, magical appearances, visions of saints, sightings of ghosts. It's just part of the hill's history. But people come and it's not just crosses. It's like effigies and
monuments, statues, obviously.
Right. Well, the Pope actually...
The head's cut off, but I'm guessing that's like Jesus or somebody.
Yes, but the Pope actually donated statues to it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Pope has actually donated. So it's a big deal, and it's 100,000 crosses. And then they have little statues and little trinkets, and it is... I'm not Christian, but I would go to that. It's just, it looks amazing.
That's really cool.
It looks absolutely amazing.
It's really cool.
Supposedly haunted by monks.
By monks? Dead monks?
Yeah.
Well, but if it's haunted, I guess they're dead.
I guess it's not really haunted. I guess it's just because there's a spirit doesn't make it haunted, right?
No, it is. If there's a spirit, it's haunted. It doesn't have to be an evil haunting. It just means that there's spirits there, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
You're going to like this one.
Okay, I hope so.
You're going to like this one. It's called the Door to Hell.
See?
It's not really haunted, though. So, created...
But regardless, where is it at?
Turkmenistan.
In the desert, in that place.
Yeah.
I don't see us visiting that.
No, but this is still interesting.
I'm sure it's still interesting, but I would like to try to look at some of these places, but how am I going to ever get there?
Well, I didn't make a list of things that metal could visit. This is a list of things that were interesting. This is a list of things that were interesting to read. Okay, so created in 1971 when the Soviet drilling rig accidentally plunged into a massive underground natural gas cavern, causing the ground to collapse and the entire drilling rig to fall in.
Since you started this with Soviet, this is already Hellboy. Period. This is already the beginning to Hellboy.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
So the gas crater, 30 meters wide, which is 98 feet. 38 meters or 98 feet deep, and 70 meters or 230 feet deep and wide. Okay, so uncovered, yeah. So it's been burning for decades, and it's fragile. So you got to go see it soon. Some of the edges are crumbling, and no one knows when the fires will stop. It could last 50 years, or it could just stop tomorrow. No one has any idea. There are pictures of people dangling their legs. I don't understand that. It's got to be Photoshop. Anyway, I thought this was really cool. It's not haunted. I don't know anything about it being haunted, but it's the door to hell. How can you not include it?
That's true. That's very true. I agree with you on that.
It's cool to look at, y'all. Okay, so the island of Doxa? Let's call it that. No one will buy this island. It's for sale, and literally no one will buy it.
Shit, well then they're asking too much.
Maybe not. In October 18th of 1944, they rounded up suspected Nazi collaborators, including a priest, Peter Parisia, a newly appointed mayor, Niko Kaposkiewicz. A little over a week later, they took them to this island, and they killed them. So they were Nazi sympathizers. Communist authorities posted a notice to the town explaining to the 36 residents that all of these people had been killed by firing squad, and that you shouldn't go looking for them. If you did, then it would be shit on you too. So let it go. Just let it go. If they rounded up your people and they took them to the island and they shot them for being Nazi sympathizers, you better just let it go. Because if you don't, we're going to take you out there. Suspects have said to be rowed out to the island and executed. Residents would later claim that there had been no record of any trial, and that they cautioned the locals looking for their relatives would meet the same fate. Crosses, rosaries, and priest collars were found in the remains. Among the remains excavated, forensic scientists concluded that several Catholic priests were among the executed. Many family members continue to insist that their family members were not Nazi collaborators or participants in any way. That it was unfair, that they shouldn't have been shot and killed. There was no trial. They absolutely were not.
Just kind of like the burning the witches and shit in the Salem trials.
Yeah, she's a witch.
She just burned everybody.
Meanwhile, residents of the medieval city say ghosts of the executed men still haunt the island, seeking some sort of revenge. Probably why they can't sell the friggin' island.
Yeah, but that's because they're asking too much.
We don't know how much they're asking.
I don't, but, I mean, think about it. Not everybody believes in ghosts, so somebody would be like, I don't give a fuck about no ghosts. They ain't real.
Maybe it's a stupid island.
I'll buy that shit.
Maybe the weather's really shitty.
Taylor says he never heard of the door to hell, so he looked it up on YouTube. In the first video, people were roasting marshmallows and making s'mores.
There was someone hanging their feet over it, like literally in one of the videos I saw. And I thought, how is that even possible? Is it like a low burning temperature? I didn't know. I didn't look. I didn't research enough, right? Because I do surface research.
Shit, that would be me. I'd be sitting there making s'mores in the door to hell.
It takes me a week to do surface research. I can't get into the nuts and bolts. There's the one you were expecting.
That's the one I want to go to. So bad.
The Island of the Dolls. So did you know there's a fake one nearby? And if you are going to go to the Island of the Dolls, make sure you don't go to the fake one. Go to the real one.
Yeah, so somebody built a fake one to try to capitalize on the fact that people want to tour the actual island.
So it's said that a girl was found drowned under mysterious circumstances many years ago, and that this island is possessed by her spirit. Local legends say that the dolls move their heads, arms, and open their eyes.
They also said that they don't even know how all the dolls actually got there.
Some witnesses claimed that they had heard dolls whispering to each other, while others were on a boat near the island. They said the dolls lured them in like sirens.
Sirens do that shit to you.
They do. They will fuck your shit up.
They will. They lure you in and they fucking eat your face.
So, Don Julian Barrera was the caretaker of the island. The story goes that he found the drowned girl. Okay? And then he found like a floating doll, and he assumed it was hers, and he hung it in the tree. And there you go.
Then another one showed up, then another one showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the story. And that, if you look up pictures of that, and I don't know if most of the pictures are the fake island or the real, that shit is scary. Like,
it looks pretty creepy.
That would creep me out. Just be like, oh no.
But that's like, I don't even remember which movie's coming to mind. I think it might have been one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. I don't remember, maybe 3. Mm-hmm. But there was one part where they had all the doll parts hanging from the, and it's just creepy. Just doll parts hanging from shit is just creepy, but...
So, you know what else is creepy? Anything that's in Romania, Transylvania. This is in Transylvania.
Well, that's the birthplace of Dracula.
Anything in Transylvania just immediately gets a creepy factor for me. So, one tells of a young girl who disappeared in the forest only to reappear 5 years later, unable to remember where she had been. Another tale says there's like a shepherd and like 150 to 200 sheep that just went into the woods and never came back. They call this the Romanian Bermuda Triangle. Like, people go in and they don't come back.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
Leave. You can never leave. So, as with most places, supernatural events, what's interesting here is this is a plethora of events. Like, you've got the girl going in and coming out not remembering, and the sheep going in and never coming out, and then aliens.
Oh, aliens too. No vampires?
No, people are just claiming that there's alien encounters. And then there's a claim that people go, this is my favorite part of all of this, is there's a claim that people go in and they come out with unexplained rashes. That's called poison ivy in Texas.
Yeah.
It's not a haunting. It's not anything you need to be scared of. You just need some cortisone cream.
Leaves of 3, let it be.
Leave them be. So I thought
that's the Texas rule.
I'm reading it and I'm going, are you kidding me? You came out of a forest with an unexplained rash? That's what happens.
Aliens are also not a conspiracy theory.
They're partners with the Illuminati. So yeah, Transylvania. So I'm talking more about Little Fork.
Back to the U.S.
Pine Barrens, New Jersey. It's the largest remaining example of the Atlantic coastal Pine Barrens ecosystem, stretching more than 7 counties in New Jersey. This thing is expansive. And you know what's interesting? Yes, Taylor, coming back from Vegas with an unexplained rash is way worse than coming back from Transylvania.
Or from the woods. In Texas.
Okay. So, this one has more freaking shit going on than... And maybe it's because it spans 7 counties. But there's a shit ton going on. So, the first thing that's going on in this freaking forest is... Jane Leeds, known as the Mother Leeds, the legend states she has 12 kids and she's about to give birth to her 13th, but the 13th is a cursed child, of course. This is our 13th episode.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, very nice.
Right. So, she cursed the child in frustration, saying that the child would be the devil. Okay? In 1735, she goes into labor on a stormy night, because who gives birth on a calm night when they're giving birth to a demon?
That's always on a stormy night.
So her friends gather around her, and born as a normal child, the 13th child immediately changes into a hoofed creature with a goat head, bat wings, and a forked tail, growling and screaming.
Sounds like my kids.
And it flies up the chimney and out into the forest. It's called the Jersey Devil.
Oh, I've heard of the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil. But this forest gets more than the Jersey Devil. It also gets Captain Kidd, who is a ghost kid walking along the beach with the Jersey Devil. And the Captain Kidd has the black dog. And the black dog is often considered a harmless spirit. According to folklores, the pirates of Abiscon Island attacked the ship and killed the crew. Among those killed were the cabin boy, the Captain Kidd, and he had a black dog and his black dog. So now you've got the Jersey Devil, the Cabin Kid, the black dog, and now you get a golden-haired girl. Because there's a golden-haired girl. Ghosts, it's said that she stares out into the sea dressed in white, mourning for the loss of her lover. So she's wandering around out there too. Okay?
Taylor, I don't know what just happened. Why you got blocked for saying something in caps. This is a new program I installed, so I apologize if that stupid bot said something. Yeah, you did get in trouble. I'm so sorry. He got in trouble for something.
Why?
I don't know. The bot that I installed, timed him out for saying something in caps. Sorry. Not my fault.
So we've got the Jersey Devil.
Go for it. Jersey Devil.
The kid, the black dog, the golden-haired girl that's mourning her lover, and then now we've got a black doctor. He was not permitted to practice medicine because he was black, but he was really good at it. He had herbal remedies they learned from the Indians. There's different versions of his death, but they say basically that he was lynched in the pines because he was black and he wasn't allowed to study medicine. So he's haunting the forest. And then we've got a white dog, or a white stag, a black dog and a white stag. The white stag is a ghostly white deer said to aid travelers. So this one helps the travelers.
So you got good people and bad people up in here.
He's prevented impending disasters, such as stopping a stagecoach from crashing into the river. So he's a good spirit. So the white stag's roaming around helping everybody. The black dog, the Captain Kidd, the Jersey Devil, and the black doctor are all pissed off. And the golden-haired girl just wishes she could find her lover. So there's a lot going on.
That is a lot.
In the Pine Barrens of New Jersey that covers 7 counties in more than one state. Okay?
That is a lot of counties, though. So I bet every county has their own little story about something.
A lot.
Somebody probably had a story here, and they're like, you know what? We need a story on our county, too. And somebody's like, we need a story over here on our county.
This one, the last one, and I've got extras if you want to keep going, but the last one is the one that disturbs me probably the most.
Okay, well, I definitely need to know about this.
Take a drink, get ready, because this one is cray.
Got my drink. What am I drinking tonight? Ugly Pug by Rory.
All right, here we go. The suicide forest in Japan. It's 13.5 square miles, so thick that it's also known as the Sea of Trees. Untold visitors have chosen this place notoriously as the setting for their final moments. It's so thick that most people that enter the forest don't intend to leave, but if you do, most people use tape. You bring tape with you and kind of track your steps so that you can get back out, because it's literally like you cannot find your way.
Breadcrumbs don't work.
No, birds eat that shit.
Because the birds will just eat your breadcrumbs.
Okay, so hanging by death is the most popular method of suicide in the Sea of Trees. The second is poisoning or drug overdose. Some believe ghosts, as the mournful souls linger in the woods. Folklore claims that they are vengeful and dedicated to tormenting visitors and luring those sad and lost off the path into the woods so that they'll get lost and die anyway, even if they don't intend to. What's interesting is since 1970, they've actually conducted annual searches of the forest. They're not looking for live people. There are volunteers who do patrols of the areas, making interventions. If they come in contact with somebody who's still alive, they actually try to help them. Mm-hmm. But it's really to recover remains. Many people are looking for their loved ones. You can't call for help because the soil is rich with magnetic iron, which plays havoc on cell phones, GPS, and even compasses. So once you're in, you're in. I watched Into the Forest with Nick Cage. I think it's Into the Forest with Nicolas Cage. Super interesting movie. Drama, obviously, where he has chosen to go out there. Going off the path can lead you to ghostly discoveries. You can look on the internet with images of the suicide forest. You'll find personal effects, bones, you name it. People have left things all throughout the forest. And there's actually, if you look, there's actually pictures and signs all throughout the forest that say, like, don't do it, call this hotline, there's no need for you to. Japanese is really steeped heavily in suicide culture. Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard a lot of it is from, like, literally being, like, overworked and stuff.
Well, that's different. So you hear all the stories about the iPhone, even when I was in business school, they showed us that the iPhone factories have the suicide nets because people try. Okay, that's one thing. And the suicide forest comes from just all different things. But the culture about suicide in Japan is just very different. It's very different than ours. So this is a very, 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 very creepy forest. But the thing is, if you look at my picture, it's absolutely freaking gorgeous.
Well, I was going to say, is this like kind of like a national park or something? Like, do people go here all the time, or people literally just go there to kill themselves?
People go there to kill themselves, but many people don't intend to, and some fall victim because they get lost and they just can't find their way out.
But do people go there just to hike?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just for killing yourself.
But you can't just hike. You literally can't find your way out. There's no GPS. There's nothing that can help you out. So if you're going there to hike, you could. Some of the victims that they've found that are suicide could possibly be people just getting lost. But many, many, many people have just left suicide notes. Like, they go there with that intent. So.
Very interesting.
That's it.
You wrote that spooky
yeah.
Like you would write it in the fog, like on the shower before you get murdered?
Yeah. Do you want another one so I can end on a happy note?
Oh, you got happy ones?
I got a happy one so we can end on a happy note. Now I feel bad. Catfish Plantation in Waxahachie, Texas. You can go get you some soul food and spirits. It is supposedly haunted. I've always wanted to go there. I read one article that said if you don't like your food and you cross your silverware, apparently one of the signs that you didn't like your meal was you cross your silverware, that the ghosts will uncross them because they don't like that.
Waxahachie's not very far. We could go to this one.
It is. Hey, it's one of the most haunted eateries in the nation.
So is that the only haunted thing that happens? They uncross your silverware?
No. There's all different kinds of...
Look, here's the thing that bothers me about this one. If you don't like your meal, you cross your silverware. And then the ghosts uncross it. So this is something that's known.
That's what they say.
Which means everyone wants it to happen, so everyone's going to cross their silverware. So the kitchen's like, man, we can't please no one. Everyone crosses their silverware here. No one likes their food. How are we still open? We need Chef Ramsay to come here and do a Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh my God.
Figure out why everybody hates our food and crosses their forks.
I wanted to end on a happier note, but I want to go to Catfish Cafe. Or Catfish Plantation. I've always wanted to. Supposedly their prices are really high for what they serve. But still, I want to go just for the fun of it.
It's not that far, so why not?
Is she saying they shut down? Don't you dare say they shut down. Is that a typo, Lolo? Because I don't think if they shut down, I just looked at them the other day. I just did my research.
Well, they shut down last night.
Now I'm wondering. Whatever. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about quacky medicine. What does that mean? You chose it.
Well, you asked for ideas, and that's just what came to my head.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay will shut... Gordon Ramsay wants to shut everybody...
Oh, she goes, they'll shut down if Gordon Ramsay goes there.
There's no restaurants that make it past Kitchen Nightmares that are still open. I think there's 3. 3, maybe. Yeah.
So basically, all I had in mind for this was... There's a lot of... Well, for instance, tonight you talked about a guy trying to cure cancer with mineral water.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about with this. Yeah. It's like, if you look back over like 100 years ago or so, or more... People were trying to cure shit with the weirdest things.
Like the leeches, like the whole, like, they thought if they, like, bled you, like, they just cut you open and let you bleed.
Yeah, which there's some truth to that still, but what I'm talking about is
what you talking? Let me bleed.
But what I'm kind of talking about is, like, there used to be, like, apothecaries that traveled. They had, like, the box and the little, like, food truck, but it was not a food truck. And they would pull the wagon. There was a little apothecary, and they'd open it up, and they would sell things to make your hair grow and things to make... It was all junk. None of it was real.
It was like colloidal silver.
Yeah, it was like essential oils or something. Yeah. Like, it didn't work. It was just... But they sold it, and they would tell, oh, this will help your sex drive, and this will help your eyesight so you don't have to wear glasses.
They were really always just like natural cures, right? It was more like a natural cure. Hey, yeah. Taylor, let's go. How far are you? Let's meet up and go to the Catfish Plantation.
Oh, he looked it up?
Yeah. The prices are decent, but they have... So their whole thing is they sell soul food and souls.
Soul food
or spirits.
And souls.
I'm sorry, soul food. It's a pun. They sell soul food and spirits, meaning their drinks, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Play on words kind of thing.
So next week, 6 o'clock.
Next week at 6 o'clock, Quacky Medicine.
Quacky Medicine.
Quacky Medicine. What else we got for tonight?
In the meantime,
use your Prime to sub to us.
Please.
We're putting that money we get, if we get enough, towards improvements.
And follow us for notifications when we go live.
Yep. Follow us, get notifications, turn your little notifications on, and anything else?
No, please. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do what?
That's what Grim Reaper says. No, please. Just do it.
Oh. Just do what? What are we doing?
We're subscribing on Prime for free.
Oh, yeah. For free. If you don't have Prime, then just pay us $5 a month. It's fine.
$4.99.99.
All right. You got anything else?
That's all.
All right. Well, see you next Sunday. Well, I'll be gaming during the week.
I'll be working during the week.
Well, I'll be working during the week, but Tuesday and Thursday I stream my games.
True.
And you do show up. What's it mean? How come I don't show up? I see you right now.
Yay, Taylor.
As a subscriber, I see you as a subscriber too, because you got the little thing that says first in front of your little name. That means you're a subscriber.
Yep. We have lots of subscribers. Eventually, we will make money.
And then we can buy this new $300 setup I need.
She's saying on the list because she subscribed before we weren't live, so it didn't show up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It shows up who subscribes while we're live. Shows up. Yep. But you're still on there. You got your little first in front of you and your little crown. We good?
We're good.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.